Batman fans, welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is Colin, and finally, my most anticipated movie of 2022 has finally arrived. I've been waiting for this movie since 2020, and now my anticipated movie has finally arrived. Today I'm going to review the latest comic book film, The Batman. This movie is directed by Matt Reeves and stars Robert Pattinson, Zoe Kravitz, Colin, Farrell, Dano, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis, and John Turturro. Now, before I get to my review of The Batman, this review will be completely spoiler-free, so you guys are safe with me. I will do a spoiler review coming up very soon, but this is more of my initial thoughts on the movie in general, so no spoilers in this review. You guys are safe with me. During his second year becoming the Caped Crusader, young version of Bruce Wayne / Batman teams up with Commissioner Gordon and Catwoman to investigate a murder that's been killing political figures that is known as the Riddler. Oh yeah, this movie is my most anticipated film of 2022. From the very beginning, I was very pumped for this film. Let's go back real quick. This movie was actually meant to be Ben Affleck's solo Batman film. He was going to direct the movie and star in the movie, but the movie got cancelled basically because of personal issues. So, now it's up to Matt Reeves to reboot this brand new Batman franchise. And also, we have Robert Pattinson playing Batman. Now, at first, I really wasn't excited because I'm thinking Edward Cullen from Twilight is playing Batman? Seriously? But that's because I haven't seen his other films. I haven't seen Good Time and The Lighthouse and High Life, and I watched all those films, and that proves to me that Robert Pattinson is a good actor in general. So, I gave him a chance. And then when the first official teaser trailer for The Batman came out, I was excited for this movie ever since. Especially that also Matt Reeves is directing the film. And I love Matt Reeves. I think he's one of the most brilliant filmmakers today. Like, I love Dawn and War for the Planet of the Apes. I love Cloverfield. And even some of his underrated ones like Let Me In. I thought those movies are fantastic. He's never made a bad movie yet. So, The Batman. I was very excited from the trailers from the very beginning. I think Robert Pattinson will kill it as Batman. And the cast in this movie is fantastic. Like Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, Dano, Jeffrey Wright, Andy Serkis. Great cast for this movie. So, I went to a very early screening of this movie. I went to see this movie in IMAX. Now, here we are. Let's just get this review over with. Getting everyone anticipated. What are my initial thoughts on The Batman? Is this movie the best Batman film? Or is this movie the worst? Yes! This movie is not just one of the better comic book movies that I have seen in a very long time, but also, this movie is the best Batman film since The Dark Knight. I'm not even kidding, guys. This movie blew me away from start to finish. Let's start talking about the cast in this film, because every single member of this film is completely flawless. Of course, let's talk about the big man in the room, Robert Pattinson as Bruce Wayne / Batman. I am so happy for him because he plays Bruce Wayne / Batman incredibly. He is phenomenal in this film. He steals the entire movie. Like 90% of the movie, we see more of Batman than Bruce Wayne. Him as Batman is absolutely flawless. He is definitely one of the better performances of the Caped Crusader that I've seen in a very long time. He basically plays a much more broken take on the Batman character, and I think Robert Pattinson played this role 100% well. Even though we don't get to see much of Bruce Wayne in the film, he is still fantastic in this film. But him as Batman absolutely blew me away. You follow his character the whole way through in this movie, and holy shit, his character as Batman is some of the best portrayals that I've seen of Batman since Christian Bale. I definitely am excited to see more of him in the Caped Crusader role. Also, the rest of the cast is bloody incredible. Like Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle / Catwoman is also incredible in this film. I'm sorry, Anne Hathaway, but I think Zoe Kravitz has to take over as the best Catwoman that I've seen on the big screen. Her character is so investing in this film. She's also like Batman, because both of those characters are basically in their beginnings as vigilantes. And the way they portray Catwoman in this film It's something that I've never seen in other Batman films or Catwoman media before, and Serkis absolutely blew me away as Catwoman, and she has a great chemistry with Batman in this film. It basically has that huge trust/romantic chemistry, and I think it completely works in this film. Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon really surprised me in this film. He was actually in this movie more than I thought he would. He teams up with Batman throughout the whole movie. You get to see the chemistry between Batman and Commissioner Gordon in this film, and it's really well done. Jeffrey Wright's performance as Commissioner Gordon is absolutely incredible in this film. I love him in this film. He's definitely one of the better Commissioner Gordons that I have seen. Also, Andy Serkis as Alfred. Also fantastic in this film. Great casting for this film, and the cast performed their roles very, very well, especially Andy Serkis as Alfred. He blew me away also in this film. But of course, let's talk about the villains in this film. I want to start off straight away with Colin Farrell as the Penguin. First of all, I don't see Colin Farrell. In that makeup, he looks super unrecognizable. But not just that, his voice is super unrecognizable. You barely notice it's Colin Farrell. You notice that it's some random guy, like random fat ugly actor playing this role. But you notice it's Colin Farrell playing this role, and it's absolutely incredible. Colin Farrell blew me away in this movie as the Penguin. Another great performance in this film. He is so over the top, you know, like he was in Daredevil. But in this movie, it completely works for his character. Colin Farrell, I'm so excited to see your series of the Penguin, because you blew me away in this film. But of course, we're going to talk about the biggest surprise of this film. Paul Dano as the Riddler. This proves to me that I'm going to trust every single casting in a comic book film ever for being good in the movie, because Paul Dano as the Riddler absolutely blew me away. He basically plays a terrifying, suspenseful villain that's inspired by a Zodiac killer. He's basically a slasher killer in this film. And oh my god, whenever he is on screen, I was on the edge of my seat. And Paul Dano's performance as the Riddler is absolutely phenomenal. I love Paul Dano as an actor. I loved him in Prisoners, but this is definitely his best performance that I've seen. This is also one of the best villain performances that I've seen since Heath Ledger's Joker. He is phenomenal in this film. But I reckon what's fantastic about the Batman is Matt Reeves' vision for this film. If you're expecting this film to be an action-packed story with Batman and all that stuff, you're not going to get that. This is not like an MCU film. This is a noir murder mystery film. Throughout the majority of this film, you see Batman and Commissioner Gordon and Catwoman investigating the Riddler. You see action scenes. There are action scenes in this film, but there's not too much of that. This film is more of a murder mystery film. And I thought that completely works in this film. I love what Matt Reeves is trying to do in this film. The whole murder mystery in this film is so freaking investing from start to finish. I was never bored in this 3-hour movie, because this film is 3 hours, by the way. This film is so investing from start to finish. There's never a scene that bored me in this film, because this whole mystery was so investing. It kept me guessing what's going to happen in the film. It kept me so invested. This is one of the best screenplays that I've seen in a comic book film in a very, very long time. But also, this movie has action scenes, and the action in this movie is absolutely terrific. There are some really well filmed action scenes in this movie. This provides, in my opinion, one of my favorite comic book movie action scenes that I've seen in a long time, and it's the Batmobile chase with the Penguin that you saw in the trailer. It shows a lot more than the trailer presented. That scene is probably one of my favorite scenes of the entire year. And speaking of that, this is the best Batmobile that I've seen on the big screen. Yeah, you might think it's just a muscle car, but when you watch the movie, it explains a lot of how cool this Batmobile is. Craig Fraser's cinematography in this film is absolutely incredible. You know him, he did Dune, he did Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, but this is some of his better work that I've ever seen. His cinematography of this film is fantastic. There are some unbelievable shots in this film where I'm like, how the hell did he do that? It's totally incredible. And also, Michael Giacchino's score in this film, hopefully I say his name right, his score in this movie. One of the better comic book movie scores that I have ever seen in a film. Not just his incredible Batman thing, which I listened to that in the car on my way home from the movie because of how much happy I was with the film. That score never gets old, but also the scores for Catwoman and the Riddler. It is phenomenal. This is some of the best scores that I've ever seen in a comic book film. This is going to be the score that I'm going to remember for a very, very long time. But I just love the way that Gotham was portrayed in the Batman without spoiling it. Gotham in this film is the way Gotham should present in movies. No offense in the Christopher Nolan movies, but I feel like Gotham looks more just like a normal city. Gotham's supposed to be like a place that you don't want to live in because it's full of crime and corruption. I love the way that Gotham City was portrayed in this film. It is brutal, it is insulting, it's basically terrifying to look at, and that is the way that I like to see Gotham City in a film, and Matt Reeves, I can see his vision, and he absolutely bringed it to this film. Also, this film is definitely inspired by David Fincher's work, you know, like Seven, and also movies like Zodiac, and you can really see that in the film, and I thought that style of the film, it definitely looks like those films, and it completely works in the Batman. This whole film was just intense, it was heartwarming as well. There are some really emotional moments in this film. This is a 3-hour movie, and some people could complain that this movie is way too long than it actually is, and there are times I would say in the movie that I did feel like the movie was long. But the thing is, this movie wasn't boring. I was so invested from start to finish that I don't even care how long. I wanted more from this movie. Actually, probably my only flaw in this movie is that I want to see more characters explored, like Alfred in the film played by Serkis, because he really wasn't much in this film. He wasn't the main focus of the film, and also Riddler. Riddler appears in the film a lot, but I wanted to see more of him because Paul Dano's performance is so fantastic. I wanted to see more, and that's this movie. From start to finish, I didn't want the movie to end. I wanted to see more from the Batman. This movie is definitely one of the best Batman films that I've seen in a very long time, and Matt Reeves, man, he is now one of my favorite directors. He can make any movie just fantastic and phenomenal. Guys, overall, the Batman definitely 100% exceeded my expectations. This movie was incredible murder mystery noir film from start to finish that involves Batman in it. Robert Pattinson absolutely killed it in this role as Batman. The rest of the cast is fantastic in this film. I really want to talk about more stuff about this film in my spoiler review. It's really hard to review this movie without spoiling it because there's a lot of great moments in this film. Overall, guys, this movie exceeded my expectations, but much, much more. This is one of my favorite comic films that I have seen in a very, very long time, and definitely one of the better Batman films that I have seen. And Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson killed it for this film, especially the rest of the cast like Zoe Kravitz, Colin, Farrell, Paul Dano, Jeffrey Wright, and Serkis. The cast is flawless. The story was fantastic from start to finish. This is a different Batman film that completely works from start to finish, and I am absolutely going to give the Batman an A+. Oh my god, I am so happy for this film. I'm so happy with how great this movie is. I'm definitely going to see this movie again tonight. So guys, that is my review for The Batman. Let me know what you figure of this movie in the comments below. Do you like the movie, hate the movie, or you thought it's okay? Let me know in the comments below. And what is your favorite Batman film of all time? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Facebook, Stardust, Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd. Keep in contact with me. And make sure you guys subscribe to my channel, notified for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. And have a nice day.
On vengeance.